Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about communication. So let's get started. I have a few different ways that I communicate. I communicate verbally with an AAC and also with communication cards. My most used method of communication is verbally speaking. As you can tell, I can speak verbally very well at that, but also a lot. I am considered higher functioning on the autism spectrum, and I can verbally communicate. But what confuses a lot of people is that just because I can do it doesn't mean I can do it all the time, which is where the two other methods of communication come in. But I will communicate verbally most of the time because it's just easiest for me. And not to sound conceited, but I do like the sound of my voice. My second most used method of communication is my AAC. An AAC is an augmentative alternative communication device. For me, that is my iPad with an AAC app downloaded on it. The app I use is the Snap Plus Core app by Toby Dynavox, and I think it costs about $80, and it just works really well for me. I was using a free app, but I wasn't liking it because I couldn't build sentences and just have enough structure for my liking with that app, so I switched over to Snap Plus Core and am loving it. I use my AAC for moments like after a meltdown when my head is empty, I have no energy to literally move, so communicating isn't something I'm able to do. Even like with my AAC, sometimes I won't want to communicate with that. I won't even want to nod my head yes or no or anything like that. But there are moments when people, like the world is built off of communication. Everybody's always talking and communicating things in different ways. And sometimes you're kind of forced to communicate, and in those moments when I'm around other people, like at camp or with my mom, things like that, I will have to communicate. And my AAC works really, really well for me because then I'm able to, without very much effort, tell you what I want or what I need. Same with shutdowns. When I'm just shut down and just out of it, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's a few days, and I need to communicate. Even if it's really, really difficult, my AAC allows me to communicate in that way, in a way where I'm able to tell you my needs, even if it's not verbal. An example of this is I went to camp over the summer, and there was one day when I showed up and one of my favorite staff wasn't there, and that threw me off, and instantly I shut down. And I used my iPad to communicate with my staff during activities and just what I wanted and how I was feeling throughout the day, which really, really helped not just me, but everyone else in the situation, because they didn't have to guess what I needed or what I wanted because I could tell them using my device because I couldn't tell them verbally. And I'm going to show you guys now a quick little tour of my AAC and how it's set up and just how I use it and everything like that. Okay, so here is my iPad home screen. My AAC app is down at the bottom between Treehouse and Spotify because those are the apps that I use most frequently during a meltdown. So we're going to go ahead and click it, and we're going to put it to the home screen because I was just using it. So this is our home screen. So on the far left we have speak, back, core words, quick fires, topics, keyboard, and dashboard. And those are just kind of like they're not words, but they're directional keys, I guess, to get to different places and do different things. And the blue there is questions, yellow is people. You can click the plus and it'll give you more options. So on the left is basic words and things that came with it. On the right is all the people that I spent my summer talking about because I used this app a lot during the summer. So we have all those people, and their buttons have been customized to be their favorite color. So each button is a person, has their picture, their name, and also their favorite color. Then if we go back, green is action, and once again you click the plus and it'll give you a whole bunch of actions. And then orange is small words or little words. So what I didn't like about my other app is that it didn't have this, so then building a sentence was grammatically incorrect. So here we have little words like to, of, and then click it and there's a whole bunch more, like in, on, if, and I just really love that feature. On the far right we have French because it's set to Canadian English, so there's a French button since that is our second language here in Canada. There is all words, so here are all the rest of the little words to build sentences with. So there's sports, food and drink, and these are all the ones that I added, but then if you go to related lists, there's even more words to choose from, like alcohol, holiday foods, sweets, snacks and sweets. So that's really good because these are the foods I use the most and click on the most, but then there's also the related list words in case I'm feeling like I want something else, like a seasonal holiday food like candy corn or matzah. And then under word lists is my favorite things. So here we have my favorite TV shows, stores, places, music, foods, apps, books, and friends. So So then these are my 3 friends. Then we have my favorite things like Greyhound buses, tattoos, purple, sleeping, because who doesn't love sleeping? And then under my favorite things are polite words like excuse me, please, things like that, because I'm prone to saying sorry a lot, and excuse me, because burps and farts happen. You go to quick fires, and then these are things that you can say quickly without having to build the whole sentence. You can just click on this and it's there. Like ones I built are, I need my headphones, because if it's noisy and I don't have time or want to just, my hands are busy covering my ears, I don't have time to search that and write all that down. So I need my headphones. It's quick and easy and right there. I also have silly ones like Melissa has dry elbows, because all summer I poked fun at Melissa for having dry elbows. And then there's helpful ones like, hang on, I'm trying to find something. Because sometimes when I'm having a conversation, people are talking about things so quick and I can't find everything, and it's like, hang on, stop. I'm trying to find something. I have been put into this conversation. There's also, sometimes I use my iPad to communicate. Please respect this and talk to me normally. This is really good because one time I was in the hospital and a doctor flat out refused to speak to me because I was using my iPad and not communicating verbally, because he knew I could talk verbally and he just refused to speak to me unless I would speak to him, and that frustrated me. So please communicate with me normally. Don't talk slow, don't slow down, don't talk to me like I'm dumb. I can understand you. Please talk to me. I'm going to use this to communicate with you though. Underneath quick fires is topics. So these are all words and to do with topics. So for me, I have my About Me section, and then it says, my name is Chris. I am 20 years old. My birthday is January 8th, 1999. So these are just quick little things about me. At the bottom, I have autism. So those are just quick little, so I don't have to, once again, search the whole sentence. It's right there, ready to go. Since I love the Greyhound bus, I also have a Greyhound bus one, so I can tell you how many buses are in the US, what my favorite bus is, and what the busiest station was. So that's really, really cool. It's just a random one. A lot of them are random too, like the Prevost X345 has a gas tank. That one's so random. But so is the, like, knowing what is the 7th busiest station is at such a random number. Also for topics, there's just arguing, which I think is really, really funny, because there's just fun little things to say, like, are you crazy? Did you say that? Like, there's just a whole bunch of fun little things that you wouldn't expect. And there was a whole bunch more, but I took some of them off because they weren't ones that I would need. Then under topics is keyboard. So then say I want to say something, but I don't want to have to search the whole thing again. Once again, I can just go here and start typing it out. And it has predictive text. So if I want to say sandwich, it'll eventually come up because it's predictive, and I really, really like that feature. So I use this one a lot too, and I really like how it is predictive. I will use this probably a lot. I'm trying to use like this more just so I learn where everything is, but the keyboard is probably my go-to if I'm trying to quickly tell you something. But yeah, that is how my iPad is set up. It is the 8x10 grid with a lavender background because it's my favorite color. The voice I'm using is the American Scott teen a cappella voice. Let's quick say something so we can hear what Scott has to say. So let's see. We'll say this.
My name is Chris. I am 20 years old. My birthday is January 8th, 1999.
So he sounds a bit funny, but then again, it is like a robotic voice, so it's not going to sound perfect, but that is Scott.
My favorite bus is the Prevost X345.
So yeah, guys, that is my Snap Plus Core by Toby Dynavox app, and yeah, that is just the app I use to communicate when it is just not possible for me to communicate verbally. My third method of communication is communication cards. I made these, my first set I made back in grade 11 when I was really struggling at school, and everybody was just struggling to deal with me because I wasn't able to always tell you what I wanted or what I needed, or sometimes I was too embarrassed to do so. So these are the cards that I made up. I'm going to show you guys a close-up of each card and tell you guys a little bit about it, but these are for when I'm in like a rumble stage of a meltdown and I'm close to being nonverbal, but I still want to communicate to you, like, hey, I'm shutting down, or hey, I need this, this, and this, things like that. Or it's also for those moments when I'm verbal and I might not be comfortable saying something to you out loud, and these cards have like set like phrases of things I can tell you, but I'm not comfortable telling them to you verbally, and I'll show you guys examples of those when I show you guys the cards up close.
So here are my communication cards. There's just a title card that says Chris's communication cards. I made these on my iPad using a series of different apps. I based them off of the Stickman communication cards, which is a UK-based company, and it was just going to cost too much to have them shipped here, so I decided to make my own, just to make it easier on me financially. So the first three are like a stoplight system. So they're green, yellow, and red. So the green one is I'm doing good, yellow is I'm currently struggling, and red is I'm overwhelmed by the situation. These are because I'm usually embarrassed to ask for help, so using the little stoplight system is to let you know if I'm not doing too well, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you that verbally. Our next card says, I identify as transgender / gender nonconforming. I use the pronouns he, him, and they, them. Please respect my pronouns. This is, again, one I'm probably too embarrassed to tell you verbally. A lot of people misgender me, and I'm too embarrassed to correct them. So this card is perfect to just subtly be like, hey, this is, what I identify as. Please respect that. Also, when people first meet me, my cards are usually, since I wear my iPad crossbody, since it's in AAC and I always need to have access to it, I clip these on with the clip right there, so they're always on me. A lot of people, if they're going to be spending a lot of time with me, will ask to read through them, and when they see this one, it's an instant, they now know, which really, really helps as well. I love when people take initiative to go through my cards, so then they're always aware of different situations that might set me off, or different things that might be happening with me. On the back of that card, it says, I know my behavior is unusual. I have a mental health condition. Please be patient with me. I've never used that card, but it's there for, once again, when people read through it to learn a little bit more about me. This one says, I don't want to be alone right now. Can we sit together till I feel okay? Once again, I'm usually embarrassed to say when I need something. This one's a really good one to have to let people know that I need somebody in this moment right now. And on the back of it, it says, too much is happening right now. I need to go somewhere else to calm down. Which once again, probably too embarrassed to tell you that verbally. It's really good to have on hand. I'm currently disassociating and are having a flashback. Will you please talk to me to help me bring back to reality? I've suffered a lot of trauma in my life and to have flashbacks regarding to it. And I need people in those moments to talk to me so I can hear your words and focus on what you're saying to me instead of focusing on the negative memory that's happening in my head. I can't speak right now, but can use sign language or write down what I need to say. A lot of people don't know sign language, but I do, and it's hard especially too, since I stim a lot with my hands. People think when I'm trying to sign to you, they get confused. They're like, is he stimming or is he signing? And sometimes I'll be signing, and people will just be like, he's just stimming. And it's like, no, I'm trying to communicate with you. So it's really, really hard. And then write down what I need to say. Sometimes I'll pull up my iPad and just type it in a note. Like when Bridget and I go to McDonald's and I'm exhausted, I just type out what I want because it's easier than going through the app for me sometimes in those moments. On the back of it, I'm too drained to speak or write, but can use my iPad to talk to you. I remember the first time I used this was at winter break camp last year. I was having a meltdown and I really wanted my staff to read my book to me to help me feel better. So I showed them this card, they got me my iPad, then they got me my backpack so my coordinator could read my book to me. I want to talk with you, but I'm not sure what to say. Because I have autism, I'm not good with communication. So sometimes I'll be with somebody and it'll be really awkward silence. And I'll really, really, really want to say something, but none of us are saying anything. And this card is just good to be like, hey, you want to start a conversation? Because I don't know how to. So I've never used this card, but I'm looking forward to using it because it just seems like it'll go over well, I'm hoping. Please do not touch me or stand too close. I'm not trying to be rude, I just need personal space. This is a good one too when people take the initiative to read through them, so they know not to stand too close to me or anything like that. People know that I really like hugs and stuff like that and holding hands, but sometimes I don't like to be close to people. Yes, I love hugs, but not 24/7, not all the time. Please don't stand too close to me. Don't take offense to it, I'm not trying to be rude. My grandma really likes to stand close to me, really likes to be in my personal bubble. And she thinks I'm being rude when I tell her, please back up. But I'm not trying to be rude, I just need space. Please may I talk to you? Because like I said, sometimes I'm too embarrassed or ashamed to ask for help or to ask to talk to somebody, so that one's there. Please may I have a hug? Once again, I don't just want to outstretch my arms to you and run up to you and hug you because you may not like that, just like I may not like that. So asking, especially if after I've had a long day at camp and I'm in a shutdown and just completely over it, please may I have a hug is a very good card to have. I'm in need of my PRN med. Once again, shutdown and meltdown. And I hate that I take medication, so it's a discreet way to ask for it. And also my inhaler because I do have asthma. The next few have pictures of signs with them. So then when I do sign to you, you should be aware this is a sign. I'm sorry. This is the sign for sorry. I'm not stimming. I'm saying sorry. On the back is thank you. Yes and no. These are two really good ones. My mother gets them confused. We once had a whole conversation where I was signing no and she thought I was signing yes. So the pictures are good to correspond with the words. And then my last little one is my favorite things. So some people take the initiative to go through my cards. These are my favorite things, and maybe there's some of your favorite things too, and we can have a conversation. So there's Peppa Pig, Bob's Burgers, Will and Grace, Sophia the First, Pokemon, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Prison Break, The Wiggles, Orange is the New Black, Wentworth, Demi Lovato, Doctor Who, Splash and Boots, and Kelly Ripa. And then just attached to the back of my cards is my emergency medical card with like all my diagnoses, phone numbers, things like that, so that people know if there is a really bad situation that I am mentally ill. Please do not think I'm drunk or high or on drugs. But yeah, those are my communication cards.
So yeah, guys, those are the ways that I communicate, and I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about communication and the different ways that people do it. Just because I'm high functioning doesn't mean that I'm always able to speak to you guys. Please be receptive to when people communicate in different ways, whether it's sign language, writing things down, just making sounds and pointing and dragging you towards something. Be receptive to other people's methods of communication because we all communicate differently. We don't all communicate verbally, and just be kind to one another when somebody else is communicating differently than you do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. Leave a comment down below how you communicate, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye guys.